Welcome food enjoyers, Pineapple here, and in this video I'll be showing you how to get a 240+% movement speed Demon Hunter in the War Within. First of all, I'd like to share this speed macro with you. You can click it and it's gonna show your current speed in chat. However, no one likes clicking, so there is also a WeakAura that you can install and you can put it anywhere on your screen and it's gonna show your current speed without having to click anything. And both of these are gonna be linked in the description below. Now, speed is lots of small things, not just one big thing. This is a guide specifically for the War Within, and things are gonna change in the midnight. And unfortunately, most likely you're going to have to reform all these small things in the midnight, like in every expansion, because, well, speed gear is never permanent. Now, let's get into things. First of all, you want to make a level 70 Demon Hunter. This is 10 levels lower than the current max level, and that's because mastery to percent mastery scaling is a lot higher on level 70 than it is on 80. Now, unfortunately, you can't lock your XP on level 70. This will be the guide that does it for Alliance, so instead you're gonna have to make a new Battle.net account, tie it to your current account so you'll keep your achievements, your mounts and so on, and don't buy War Within on it, and that way your max level is going to be level 70. Now, make sure to make a Night Elf Demon Hunter, because you get the ability Shadow Meld, which is gonna allow you to leap combat, and this is extremely useful in a lot of dungeons. Now let's go through your talents. Pursuit is your most important talent, and it says Mastery increases your movement speed. On level 70, this is about 180 mastery to 1% speed. Next up, make sure to get Felfire Haste, which says Fel Rush increases your movement speed by 10% for 8 seconds, and Internal Struggle, which says increases your mastery by 4.5%. Next up, get Burning Hatred, which says Immolation Aura generates an additional 40 Fury over 10 seconds. Also get Tactical Retreat, which says Vengeful Retreat has a 5-second reduced cooldown and generates 80 Fury over 10 seconds. And finally, get Restless Hunter, leaving Demon Form grants a charge of Fair Rush and increases the damage, whatever, that part doesn't really matter. And make sure not to get Furious Throws, because this is gonna make your Throw Glaive cost some Fury. Now, most of your speed is actually gonna come from your gear. First of all, get some eye level 515 mastery pieces. These actually drop on level 75 exactly in the War Within, which are quite awkward to get because, well, you can't lock your XP on level 75. Now, you can buy these pieces from the auction house. However, they are quite expensive because the supply is quite low. You can only get these on level 75 exactly, and the demand is actually quite high because, well, people do want to use this for speed gear or, well, boosting on level 70. But actually, this is only my, well, so-called filler gear. So for pieces where you can't find anything better, you can use, well, these 515 pieces with a lot of mastery, which give you quite a lot of speed. Next up is Azerite gear. So you wanna get some Azerite gear with the Long Strider trait, which says increases your movement speed by 28% of your highest secondary rating, up to 8%. Well, that's gonna be mastery for us, so we are easily going to reach that 8% threshold. But actually, this gives you 18% speed if you actually measure it for some reason. In BFA, normal mode dungeons actually drop a higher item level than heroic or mythic dungeons. However, there is actually a way to get an even higher item level gear than 332. As you can see, my Azerite gear is actually item level 371. The way to do this is to make a level 61 to 69 nice character on your main Battle.net account, and make sure to set it to BFA Chromie time and get the Heart of Azeroth on it. Make sure to also get the Heart of Azeroth on your main as well, and invite your alt into a party. Then press L, press Party Sync, press Start, and on your other character you actually have to also accept the Party Sync, and then the other character is gonna become visible, and then you can enter a dungeon, and mobs are actually gonna be scaled up to a higher health. You can still kill them easily, and now if you kill the final boss, it's actually gonna drop a item level 371 piece. On your Heart of Azeroth, you can also get the tier 3 Time Lost Battlefield Memento, which is gonna give you plus 5% movement speed anywhere in BFA zones and dungeons. That is, if it was actually completable, so On the way, you'll need the Fighting on Two Fronts achievement, which is so bugged that it sometimes doesn't even show up in the achievement menu. And also, it has 4 points, and the fourth one is not completable right now. So, Blizzard, please fix. For all of these Azerite pieces to function, you'll need a high-level Heart of Azeroth. There is actually a skip quest to get to level 50 immediately. I'll link a video in the description by Skullie Wullie, which explains how to get a level 50 Heart of Azeroth in about 15 minutes. That said, Azerite gear actually only functions up to and including BFA zones, so it doesn't work in Shadowlands, Dragonflight and the War Within. However, for those you probably want a level 80 anyway, because killing the mobs and especially the final boss is gonna be a lot slower on level 70 than it is on 80. For Demon Hunter specifically, go to Tol Dagor for the helmet, Freehold for the shoulder, and Motherlode for the chest. I actually have some skips for Tol Dagor and Motherlode on how to get to the last boss immediately. I'd say the Tol Dagor one is a little bit easier, the Motherlode one is a bit more involved, but if you learn these are gonna probably save you some time on average. Next up, you wanna get 2 Dragonflight crafted pieces with the blue Silken lining embellishment, which says, while above 90% health, gain a lot of mastery, which is about 5% extra movement speed. However, you can only have 2 embellished pieces on at once. The best pieces to put these on are the cloak, the rings and the weapons, because the increase between Dragonflight mastery to 515 War Within mastery is the lowest on these pieces. The reason why Dragonflight rings are better than War Within rings is because you can guarantee some sockets on it. If you can get your hands on 515 socketed pieces, which are extremely rare, then absolutely go for it. However, I wasn't able to find any, and I compared my items and these actually give me more speed overall. Your boots are actually also an exception. You want some boots that are at most item level 320 to be able to apply this enchant boots minor speed enchantment on them. And this actually gives you plus 10% speed, which is not very minor. It's the highest speed enchantment in the game. So I have these boots, the Sentinel's Eternal Refuge, which are actually the best boots you can get up to item level 320. They give you a tiny bit of mastery and also 3 gem slots, and you can actually just buy these on the auction house or craft them with Legion leatherworking. For trinkets, well, anything you can find with plus mastery or plus speed is gonna be good. I don't have the best trinkets. One of the best trinkets you can get is actually from Mythic Dawn of the Infinite, the last boss. It drops this Mirror of Fractured Morrows, which when used for 20 seconds you get 3899 mastery, which is about 21.6% movement speed on level 70. And since most dungeons are short, especially when speedrunning, this is actually gonna give you a lot more mastery than any other trinket. However, the problem is the 4th boss in the dungeon. Now there's a mechanic where you need to soak so Chromie doesn't die, which you can't really do in solo. So instead of that, you just have to kill the boss in about 20 seconds, which is about 2 million DPS for 20 seconds or 25 seconds, which is doable on level 80, so I'm working on a fire mage that can do this for me. Next, let's move on to enchantments. For your cloak, you want the Chant of Burrowing Rapidity, which is about 2.2% speed on tier 3. For your chest, you want the Storm Rider's Agility, which is about 4.5% speed on tier 3. For your bracer, you want the Enchant Bracer Chant of Armored Speed for plus 1000 speed, which is about 8.7% speed. For boots, we already went over the minor speed enchantment. For both of your rings, you want the Enchant Ring Radiant Mastery, which is plus 315 mastery, which is about 1.75% movement speed per ring. And for your weapons, you want Enchant Weapon Wafting Devotion, which sometimes gives you plus 555 speed for 15 seconds. For your gems, you want exactly 1 elusive Blasphemite, which gives you plus 2% movement speed per unique Algari gem color. This counts as one of them, and then spam some unique Algari gems. However, at some point, just spamming mastery becomes better than these unique gems. For me, I used one masterful ember and some masterful onyxes, and that was the best setup for me. Make sure to test it for yourself, test multiple setups, and whichever gives you the most speed, go with that. Now let's do the consumables. Charged Files of Alacrity give you plus 744 speed, which is about 6.5% speed. They last 30 minutes and they last through death, and also they can be stacked. Hissing runes can be applied to each weapon, and they give you plus 310 mastery for 2 hours, which is about 1.7% movement speed for 2 hours per weapon, and they also last through death and are extremely cheap. You can buy them for 40 silver on my server per hissing rune. For food, you want to use fried bonefish, which is gonna give you about plus 10% movement speed if you're constantly killing enemies. And for drink, you want to use Pep-In-Your-Step, which is going to give you about 2.1% movement speed for 10 minutes. And unfortunately, well, this is lost when taking damage or dying, as well as fried bonefish is lost when dying. And also you can eat and drink at the same time, but for some reason it only works if you click on the fried bonefish and then Pep-In-Your-Step. That's when you get both of the buffs, otherwise you only get Pep-In-Your-Step. Next up, temporary speed increases. First off, Nitro Boosts. This is from Northern Engineering level 30. It attaches to your belt, and it's quite easy to get. It's very cheap and it's very easy to get to level 30 Northern Engineering. It took me like 10 minutes, and it does this. It speeds you up quite significantly for about 4 seconds. However, it can malfunction about 10% of the time. Instead of speeding up, you're gonna start to take damage, about like 80% of your health, which you can actually cancel out with Nether Walk. So if you happen to malfunction, you can just press Nether Walk, and well, you're gonna be a little bit faster and at least not take any damage. And outside of instances, it can actually critically malfunction about 1% of the time, and it's gonna throw you up in the air. Next up is the Flax Weave Underlay, which also comes from Northern Engineering. It attaches to your cloak, and it does this. It gives you a parachute effect for 30 seconds, and it actually makes you go a little farther than just gliding. Next up is the Shadow Flame Rockets. This attaches to a Dragonflight crafted bracer, and what it does, it gives you plus 100% to plus 700% increasing speed, which is quite fast. However, if you hit anything, if you hit a mob, if you hit a wall, it's gonna stop. And this is what it does. You go very fast. Unfortunately, this can also malfunction, so sometimes it's gonna give you some random effects. It's gonna knock you back, it's gonna make your character model smaller, so there are various effects you can get. Next up, we have Gun Shoes, which give you plus 200% speed for 20 seconds. However, these can only be used outside and they are consumed on use. Next up is the Oddly Shaped Horn, which you get from this mob located, well, technically in the Jade Forest, but kind of on the border of the Valley of the Four Winds and the Veiled Stair. And it's a 100% drop, and it looks like this. Now, unfortunately, this item is unique, which means you can only have one of them, and it's also soulbound, so you can't sell or buy these, which means if you ever want more of them, well, you just have to come back and kill this guy again. Fortunately, you do get 3 charges of it, and when it does, it summons a fast 410% speed mount, which lasts about 20 seconds. The Cracked Radinex Control Gem is a rare drop from one of these 3 elites that spawn in Antoran Wastes. One of them spawns on this ship, one of them spawns like right here, and the other one right here. And it's very similar to the Oddly Shaped Horn. It's unique, but it's not soulbound, so you can sell these or send them to your alts and then send them back in the mail, which means you can just stock up on these. And it does this, so it summons one of these fast mounts. It's also about the same speed as the Oddly Shaped Horn, however it's technically like something you ride on, so it's not gonna show you through my current speed, and you use this exit button to get off of it. The Shimmer Scale Diving Suit increases your swim speed by 100% and it lasts 15 minutes, and this is actually the exact same speed as underwater mounts. And finally, the Potion of Gusts propels you forward a little bit, which allows you to reach some ledge perhaps that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. And that's gonna be it, so hope you liked it. I'm gonna fix my mic for next time, and like, subscribe, share, comment, YouTuber things. Bye!